Welcome to 2024, ladies and gentlemen. In front of us, I have Suzuki's 2024 Suzuki GSX-8R. Now, the end of 2023, I rode the GSX-8S. I absolutely love that thing, and you guys were crazy in the comments asking for the 8R. It is here. We are doing a first ride here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, Georgia. I am very excited for this because I love the 8S so much. So, without further ado, let's get to the first ride of 2024. Alrighty guys, that's what it looks like and that's what it sounds like. Not too bad, right? Alright, before we get going, we're going to jump to an ad real quick so we can pay some bills and then we will get on this thing.
Just like the yellow on this GSX-8R, you guys know we love a unique and bold statement in the motorcycle world, right? Just like Evel Knievel, the man who defined daredevil biking, his final stunt, the shark jump, is not just a piece of history. It's also part of this incredible timepiece. Rec Watches has crafted the TTT Knievel watch using the actual handlebar levers from Evel's XR750. From its skeletonized dial to its innovative ride/dress mode, this watch is all about details and versatility. But here's the catch. Only 736 of these masterpieces exist. I mean, there's only so much material they have to use off the bike, right? Every time you glance at your TTT Knievel, you're not just checking the time, you're carrying a piece of daredevil history. So, are you ready to wear a piece of motorcycling legend on your wrist? You guys can pre-order it now to join this exclusive club. If you guys want to grab one of these super limited timepieces for yourself, head to the link in the description and get one while you can. Thanks Rec Watches for sponsoring this first ride. Now, let's get back to the video.
Alrighty, my friends, thank you guys for sitting through that ad. Also, how cool of a watch is that? Alrighty, let's get on this thing, and let's see what it's all about. Please be as good as the 8S. Please, I'm so excited about this. I am authentically excited about Suzuki making bikes that I get excited about. Alrighty, so guys, I'm 5'10", I got a 32-inch inseam. As you can see, sitting all the way down on this bike, I've got relatively bent legs on both sides. So I think it's actually going to be a solid motorcycle for shorter riders. We've got a mode button here. We've got 3 levels of traction control, and we have 3 levels of power modes. It goes A, B, C. C is the lowest, B is above, A is everything. So we're going to start out in C mode and we'll work our way up, and we'll get this thing going. Oh man, I can already tell this is going to be a good one, boys. Also, guys, before we get going, make sure to check out our Discord. I've got a whole new page in Discord for first rides. So, after you watch this video, go check out our little first ride discussion about each of the first ride bikes. And this one will have a topic. Oh, we get to go? We get to go? And it's got a quick shifter? Hell yes. Oh, this is awesome. I love this. As I pass a cop. Oh, man, today's going to be good. So, for the rest of this video, guys, we're just going to call this thing the 8R. That's what it's going to be. I'm not going to do the whole GSX-8R. I think it's a terrible name, if we're going to be honest. But this thing has got some competition in the space. Competitors, you're looking at the R7, the CBR 650R, the Ninja 650. You're looking at the Aprilia 660. You're looking at Daytona's 660. This is a stacked market, so this bike has got to be good, and I mean good. Now, it's a first ride. Let's talk about body position and seating. Seating-wise, the seat is, I would say, something around medium. It's a relatively wide seat, and I am in a very comfortable body position. For a sport bike, I did expect to be a little farther leaned over, but with these kind of raised handlebars, as you guys can see, I'm kind of, not upright, but I'm only slightly leaned forward. My legs are kind of back just a little bit, and for city riding, this is an ideal body position. I feel a little aggressive. I can kind of get over the front of the bike, but I'm not crazy aggressive to where it would be uncomfortable or hurt my back. I honestly love this body position. And with that being said, I'm going to hit the mode button twice. I'm going to go up into B mode because C mode's cool. I appreciate that it's there. It's their kind of rain mode. But I'm here for B mode. It might be like my MT-10. I ride my MT-10 solely in B mode, even though modes are different from Yamaha and Suzuki, but I don't like the peaky modes. I'll try out A mode on this bike, but we're going to be in B mode, and traction control is now in 2. So we'll see how she does there. You guys let me know in the comments, how are we thinking about the yellow? My first bike was yellow. My first car was yellow. So I feel like I've got this is like a coming home party for me. Kind of here for it. I also think it pops, and if you guys clicked on this video from that thumbnail, then you probably feel the same. Alrighty guys, now that we got the bike in B mode, let's talk about city performance of, that's a lot of stopped cars. I'm not going to get in that lane and get smushed. No, thank you. So guys, city performance-wise, I feel like we are getting, as a motorcycle community and the bikes that we have available to us, we are getting to a point where we now have sport bikes that are literally picture perfect for city riding. A thing I really am not here for with super sports is the body position and the power. The power is just delivered in a way that you got to work hard for it, and the body position is so set up for track riding that you can't really take advantage of it, and it's not fun to ride in the city. This style bike changes everything but gives us a phenomenal amount of power, especially this one. So because of that body position I was just talking about with you guys in the low seat height, I can literally very easily from a red light get my feet back up on the bike and get going. I know that's a little thing, but in the city riding where you're going to be stopping and going, that actually is a big deal, especially over the course of an entire day of riding. The power on this bike is so punchy and so torquey, it allows me to get in and out of traffic super quickly and get myself in or out of issues. Like if, a car pulls out on you and you've got to get around or something like that. The power is so good for the city. I'm interested to see how it handles the highway. But as far as this style riding, since I'm kind of upright a little more than I would be on a regular sport bike, it allows me to have that maneuverability, and it just makes for such a good riding experience in city riding. All these people are here. Let's just go around. Let's go around, everybody. Oh, we're on a motorcycle. Oh, that's awesome. I love this bike. I'm honestly here for it. I may like this bike more than I like the 8S. I know that's crazy because I love the 8S. But this one looks really cool. I think the 8S looks cool, but I'm really here for the fairings, the lines that the bike has. I think it's awesome. And now, since it's such a great city bike because of the body position and the power, where are we going? Look at that. Got plenty of power, and I'm in B mode still. Haven't gone to A mode yet. Such a fun bike to ride around the city. Another thing that I don't often mention, but I try to remember to mention with you guys, is the body position on a bike is so important to give you guys the ability to look over your shoulder. When you're leaned up on a bike, when you look over, you normally hit your shoulder, but I'm finding that my head is upright enough on this bike to be able to look side to side, and I can easily head check. It gives me a much better presence of what's around me. And if you're riding in town, you guys see these cars. You guys know how they drive. They're absolutely terrible. So the better, presence you can have of what's going on around you, the more safer you can be as a rider. Clutch is engaging super smooth here on this stop and go traffic. It's extremely smooth there. It wiggles a little bit, so it's giving a little cost effective, but this bike is also less than 10 grand, so you got to keep that stuff in mind. That it can't. We're not talking about a premium machine here, but all the controls in this kind of environment are doing a really good job. A clutch is very important when you're doing a lot of stop and go traffic, of course. I am looking forward to taking a right on this road and opening it up a little bit more. I'm a fan of the engine, so I can't wait to push it a little harder. I have noticed the balance on this bike is great. Yeah, I've been very comfortable going really low speeds on this bike, so nice job, Suzuki, getting the balance. Frickin' nailed. We can make that. We can easily make that. Oh, easy! Easy street, baby. Oh my God, this bike power-wise is made for city riding, dude. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God. This is what I'm talking about. You got cars cut you off, you got enough agility, and you got maneuverability that you can just get around things. I don't know if there's a better sport bike for city riding on the market right now. Sorry, R7. I gotta call it like I see it, okay? Even getting a little more power, I can tell now that we're, kind of halfway through the rev range. The power on this bike is definitely down low. You're not gonna be incentivized to really rev it out. I can kind of start feeling the power die off once I get a little rev happy with it. So all I do is just like shift it up, drop those RPMs down, and keep heading on up. Such a fun bike for this, but we're coming up on the highway. So now that I'm seeing how, non-rev happy this bike is, I'm now curious. Let's get it in A mode. This is going to be its super easy mode change, by the way. I don't know if you guys just noticed that. Highway time. It is a sport bike. People are going to want to haul butt on the highway, and we got a 40 to 80 pull to do. Thanks to our buddies at Law Tigers. I still know what I'm doing. All right, guys, we're about to get on the highway with this 2024 Suzuki GSX-8R. We got to find out how fast it goes from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. Thanks to our buddies at Law Tigers. That is our motorcycle lawyer friends that sponsor the show. So I don't know what gear to do this in, but based on how it's been riding, I need to keep the revs low. So we'll keep it in second for this one. I don't know if this is going to be the right gear, but we'll play it out. We're going to have to use that escape lane 100%. All right, guys. 40 to 80 pull. Let's see what she's got. On your marks. Get set. Go. Oh, yeah, you got to shift early. There it is. I don't know how fast it was. Give me a time. All right, let's get in traffic. This thing is so good. I need to chill out so bad. Oh my goodness, I was worried about it. I thought the power would die off and it wouldn't be fun on the highway. That was a lie. Survey said. Dude, I'm in 5th. I'm not even in 6th yet. Okay. Anyway, all right, guys, we're here on the highway with the GSX-8R. Now, we got this tiny little windscreen. It ain't doing a lot. Really, the wind is mostly hitting me in my chest. But the good thing about that is it's not wiggling my head around. I really appreciate that. I hate it when the wind hits me right in my visor and my head just bobbling around the whole time. That's one thing I really can't stand. Now, as far as stability on the highway, like I said on the city, the bike is stable. Now, it's not as fast to dip in, but I really appreciate that stability here. The bike's only weighing like mid-400s on the weight. So it's not that really heavy of a bike, so I didn't want to be, blown around in the wind, and it is windy as heck today. Now, as far as rider aids and stuff, we do not have cruise control. I will say the throttle is kind of a medium throttle. It doesn't take a lot to pull it back. So, you know, it's not taking a lot of stress for my hand to just kind of sit on the throttle to keep me going. You guys know I love cruise control. Really wish we did have it on most every bike. But it's not a make or break for me on this one. Now, as far as body position, with me being more upright, I can scoot back a little bit and tuck in. And this does okay. You know, it's not amazing because I need a little bit more of a windscreen to really tuck fully behind that air bubble. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I could almost see, like, touring on this. If it had cruise control, I would definitely say this could be a touring bike. As far as vibrations go, I am noticing, let me get in 6th gear. I am getting some vibrations in my handlebars and in my foot pegs. I don't know if they're not annoying me now, but if I was going to do like an all-day ride, it might be something that eventually gets to me. But guys, I'm going to finish up here on the highway. I'm going to get some music playing with my Cardo, and we'll finish up the highway. Alrighty guys, Cardo, thank you for sponsoring the First Ride series. If you guys need a Bluetooth helmet communicator to listen to music, talk to your friends, there is nothing better than Cardo's. I got a discount link for you in the description. Just use that discount and enjoy your riding. I could not ride without my Cardo. Absolutely full stop not. Let's get this thing leaned over and see how she feels. We are on a sporty girl. Oh, that feels stable as hell, bro. You know, I watched a lot of track videos on this, and everybody was complaining about lean angle, like you don't have a lot of lean angle on it. And I would get that if you're really pushing this bike, but for city stuff, oh my God, and it just pulls out of the corner. This engine might be my favorite engine of a motorcycle right now. Suzuki has really created something fantastic. All right, guys, speaking of that, let's talk about this engine. We've got a 776cc parallel twin. Is that truck gonna hit me? They are not. Now, I know a lot of you guys are looking at parallel twins and saying they're not as exciting as an inline four, and I can see where you're coming from, for sure. But I gotta tell you guys, as far as usability, the punch, the fun, the power that these parallel twins have, I absolutely love them. Are they the same as an inline four? Not even close. Nothing is the same. But if I'm looking for a bike that I want to be usable, I think I'm going to go with a parallel twin. I just love the punchy power. And when you get a 270-degree crank like Suzuki did with this one, they sound so grunty, so muscly. I'm really here for it. Now, as far as the suspension, that is one of the major updates compared to the 8S. And from KYB on the 8S, we have Showa big piston front forks on this bike. They are bigger. I believe they are stiffer. And you can really feel that in the stability of this bike in every regard. The bike just feels so more stable, locked down. And I think that's kind of what's leading me to enjoy the ride of this more than the 8S, actually. You know, now that I'm like conceptualizing and everything, I really can appreciate the suspension on here. Just the bike feels so good. It feels like it's punching way above its class when you're talking about performance, or at least what I've experienced here. Now, we also have Nissan front and rear brakes. I haven't really had to like, hey, let's just step on them. Oh, shit. Woo! Brakes are solid, dude. You are not going to need more brakes than that. So, props to them. Really appreciate that. My God, Suzuki, I don't know what you did. I don't know if you were just in your factory just like tinkering with shit, but the 8R and the 8S have just been phenomenal bikes. Traction control struggling to keep that front wheel down. Woo! Dude, this is the first bike I ride in 2024. Let's freaking go. And actually, I'm still in A mode, and let me comment on the modes real quick before we start talking about the dash. Is A mode a little more punchy? Yes, absolutely. Not going to argue that. But on this bike, I'm kind of here for it. I don't need it to be tapered off. A mode might be my mode. I mean, B mode was nice. It had a nice taper into the power, but A mode's just like a little... it's like a little shot of Jack in your Coke for lunch, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, let's talk about the controls up here. We got pretty standard controls, something I think a lot of us would expect out of a Suzuki. They feel good. They got a good click on everything. I will say they look, you know, a middle-class bike. They don't look fancy. It's all plastic. The whole area up here, it looks okay. I'll give it that. I'm not going to say anything bad about it because it functions correctly. But I'm not going to, like, you know, oh my gosh, it's so great. I will say I'm here for the screen. I do appreciate the way they've laid the screen out. We've got that TFT dash up here. All the information I need, I'm very quickly able to see that. I've got my gas gauge, I've got my gear indicator, the speed, I've got my little tack. I'm not going to complain about that dash at all. It's also a good size, and I appreciate this one that it's inset into the dash area. That way it'll help with glare. After riding today, I have not noticed any glare issues with the sun being behind me or anything, so it's got a good coating on it and all that kind of stuff. I did note that the levers like wiggle a little bit, if you guys can notice that. I don't love that. We do have an adjustable brake lever, so that's appreciated. The levers are blacked out. It's kind of a stealthy vibe up front, so I'm kind of here for it. I do have to give a shout out to Suzuki for their paint. I think the paint is fantastic. And up here in a second, we're going to do a walk around, and I get to show you guys some detail of this paint, which I think is fantastic. Also just noted, this bike also has a quick shifter. Also, it works fantastic. I think if you guys ride this bike, you will be surprised at how good that quick shifter feels. It's got that good little pop just right into that next gear. Haven't had any problems, and quick shifter up and down. Yeah, Suzuki, fantastic job overall with this. So guys, you guys have been seeing all this camera car footage. I know you've seen the bike, but we're going to pull off up here and do a little walk around the bike so I can show you guys some of the things I like and don't like about the outside of the motorcycle. Also, shout out to all of the sponsors for the First Ride series, guys. We wouldn't be able to afford to do the camera car for all these videos if it wasn't for our sponsors. So you guys that support them, just know it is a massive support to us as well. So if you appreciate the content, let those sponsors know that you appreciate them being part of the First Ride series. Do you guys remember a few months ago when I said the GSX-8R might have been the best Suzuki I've ever ridden? I don't think that's an incorrect statement, but it's only not up to date because I hadn't ridden the 8R. I think this might be my favorite Suzuki that I've ever ridden. Let me think on that, but I'm pretty sure I will stand behind that statement. Oh, you guys know I had to do the yellow. Look at the looks on this thing, man. I love the stacked headlights. I'm totally here for it. I love the lines that they've got going on. This is kind of a Suzuki vibe, is to have this centralized area and then the similarities on each side. It still looks like a Suzuki to me. Even if I didn't have this and the Suzuki on the side, I would be able to tell that's a Suzuki, and I appreciate that. The engine kind of looks okay. I'm not really like here or not here for the engine. I don't think it looks particularly cool, but it's totally fine. I love that the exhaust is kind of this under little element thing going on. Now, if we go to the back, Suzuki, look, I love this bike. This is not changing that mentality, okay? But if you take this fender off, which is, I don't know, 1 to 10 feet long, you're going to have to rewire in some lights in here. Suzuki, you have a place. There is a place for a brake light right here. Put it here. You will thank me later. Put it there. If I was buying this bike, this thing would get chopped off day one, and I would probably get a different exhaust as long as I could get one that could be mounted low like that. I love the look of this. I even appreciate the front turn signals. They actually just are flush and like clean, with the bike. This is just a fantastic looking bike. It's a fantastic performing bike, and I'm just really here for it. And you know what? The longer I look at the yellow, the longer I am really here for it. A couple other weird things. Why do we have lines here, but we don't have lines here? And this does not work. GSX-8R, like, these things look like just random decals put on the back. You guys need to work on this cohesion here, okay? The bike doesn't have to change, just change the little logoing things. If I was going to upgrade the bike, like I said, I would chop the rear off. I would maybe get a different exhaust, even though it doesn't really need it. I would change these out for black ones and more racy ones, and I would get those swapped out. Probably put some different levers on them, just so I can get a little better feel. Other than that, I don't think I would change it. Now, something I want to show you guys. Look at the subframe. All the sparkling that they put in the yellow is in the subframe, but check this out. You guys can probably see that really obviously, but look, if it's not in direct sun, you can't see it. I love little shit like that. I'm so here for it. Okay, my love affair with this bike can end now. All right, guys, so I'm going to grab my phone and film some stuff for our people over on Instagram and TikTok. If you guys aren't following us, we are at Chaseontwowheels on TikTok and CTWPics over on Instagram. I'm going to film some stuff on the phone super fast, and I will be right back. Alrighty, my friends, that is it for the 8R. My God, I could have made so many videos on this thing. I really like it. All right, phone's on the Quadlog. Shout out to Quadlog for being one of our first ride sponsors. You know them, you love them. Who rides without a phone mount? All right, guys, we got to do a steering stem lock test, and we got to end this video with who is this bike for, other than me, and we'll finish this video up. All right, steering stem lock. See what it's all about. Very sport bikey. Not great on the steering stem lock. Surprised? Definitely not. Alrighty, guys. We are here on the 8R. Let's talk about who this bike is for. You guys know I drooled over the 8S. I love this power plant. It's got the same engine in both bikes. So the question is, what bike do you go with? Now, after spending this much time on this bike, I'm really feeling like if I was to go with one, I would most certainly go with the 8R. I can actually tell a pretty big difference with the suspension. And because this is only slightly aggressive, I don't really mind the body position. From what I can remember, and from the bikes I've ridden, this is my... Can we stop for that? Are the brakes that? Oh, the brakes are like, bro, any day. That was actually great. That one even kind of close. All right, guys, sorry about that. So what I was going to say was this bike, almost to me, redefines what a super fun sport bike can be. I think the power amount is nailed, the agility nailed, the body position nailed. I'm not saying we haven't had middleweight sport bikes up until now, but if you're going to ask me, the Ninja 650 is a safe bike. It's got a decent amount of power. It feels good. It's decent. This is one of the first middleweight sport bikes, not super sports, but sport bikes, that gets me authentically excited. And I could actually see myself riding a bike and owning a bike like this as a kind of a middle ground, because I like sport bikes, but I can't ride them because of my back. So I end up gravitating towards the naked bikes. I can see myself on a bike like this kind of drifting back towards the more sporty side. So that's the kind of person I think is here for this. If you're only here for doing dank nooners and riding around city stuff, maybe go with the 8S and save yourself some money. But if you want to be able to do that and push the bike a little harder than you otherwise would, you might need to want to you might want to spend the extra and go with the 8R. This is my favorite Suzuki I've ever ridden. I'll end it with that. But guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. This has been a first ride. Shout out to Mountain Motorsports. That's where the bike came from. If you guys need a bike in the area, they've got a massive selection. We'll have a link for them in the description down below. That's where we got the bike from, and that is where I'm headed back to. Now, for my people in the outro crew that made it to the end of the video, first, thank you guys so much for getting to the end of the video and listening to me talk this entire time. I really appreciate you. Make sure to put a heart in your comment, and that'll be my way of knowing that you guys made it to the outro crew. And let me know, does the sportier and better suspension of this bike make it worth the extra money as compared to the 8S, at least compared to my last first ride? If you guys haven't seen my GSX-8S video, I'll leave that first ride here at the end of the video. You guys are awesome. Subscribe if you like motorcycle content. I'll see you on the next one. Later.
2024 Suzuki GSX-8R. Apparently it's a pretty good bike. I don't know. I've not ridden it. It's awful comfy though, I'll tell you that.